the practice field monument to a great Clemson Tiger victory. 6 years ago to this day, Terry Allen led them to a win over the Seminoles in Tallahassee, the last time Florida State would lose to an ACC opponent. Head coach Tommy West knows it'll take a big effort to repeat that feat today.
You can't sit back and wait for them to make the big play on you, because if you do, they will. I think you've got to challenge them, and somehow both sides of the ball, you've got to get them out of rhythm. If you let them get comfortable offensively or defensively, then all of a sudden it starts snowballing, and you can't get it stopped.
And coming up on a beautiful afternoon here in Clemson, South Carolina, ABC Sports and the College Football Association feature an ACC matchup. Today is the #1 team in the country, the Florida State Seminoles, taking on the Clemson Tigers. And we'll be back to Death Valley after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Okay, David, get back.
Memorial Stadium here in Clemson, South Carolina, as Florida State comes to town. And here come the Clemson Tigers. One of the great traditions in all of college football, past Howard's Rock, placed there by legendary coach Frank Howard, and the good luck charm for many years here in Death Valley. And hi again, everyone. I'm Terry Gannon, along with my partner Tim Brandt. And Tim, Clemson coming into this game is obviously a great underdog, but it's a young team that's got a lot of confidence with Tommy West.
They really do, Terry, and I think they're going to have some early success to carry that confidence through. Now, a lot of the pressure is going to fall on their quarterback, Nealon Green. He's young, he's inexperienced. The Tigers have gone through a half a dozen quarterbacks over the last couple of years, but they say this guy is their future. For Florida State, it all starts with a run. Now, we're talking about Dunn, Preston, both guys went over 100 yards last week. That broke the game open. And, of course, these guys, they bang at you, fresh legs. It's like the hammer and chisel. No matter how solid you are, they'll break you down eventually. And if that happens, then, of course, Danny Cannell, he'll just tear you apart and get to everybody involved.
#1 Florida State has won 25 in a row in the ACC. Clemson tries to put an end to that streak today.
Terry's a bit of a controversy last week in the ACC as Bobby Bowden was accused of running up the score against Duke. That controversy underscores a larger issue. There's a huge gap between the Seminoles and the rest of the teams in the conference. The average margin of victory has been over 31 points a game. Clemson today believes it is the one team that can narrow that gap. They're going to try it in front of a home team sellout crowd. Back to you, Terry.
All right, John, Clemson hoping that run up the score theme does not continue today here at Death Valley. And here is Jeff Savay, the kicker. Clemson has won the toss, but they elected to defer to the second half. So Florida State will receive. And back deep for the Seminoles, Rock Preston and Jermaine Green, a couple of guys who can absolutely fly. And it is Green at his own 4-yard line. Some room up the right sideline. And a great return out to the 47-yard line. A 45-yard return by Jermaine Green, and the tackle made by Marlon Green, number 41 for Clemson, but the celebration already on the sideline for Florida State.
Just have so much team speed and depth.
And you look at Danny Cannell, who had a great week last week, Timmy.
He's never been more confident and comfortable than he is right now. You know, he was beaten up by the media last year, not necessarily warranted after the Miami game, but now, as we talked to Bobby Bowden the last couple of days, he says the guy's just making throws. He's playing with confidence. Tremendous leader.
And the Miami game last year, he was taken out, and then the Florida game in which he led a comeback, really the game that set up his confidence for this year. 4 receivers in on first down in the play action by Cannell. He's got a man. It's number 19, E.G. Green, across the 40. And a first down on the first play from scrimmage for Florida State. We're going to look at the chilly starting lineups, the backs and receivers for Florida State. Warrick Dunn, 1,000 yards last year, and Andre Cooper caught 9 balls last week against Duke for 155 yards.
How about Cooper? 9 receptions, 27 last year, 5 touchdowns. Outstanding player.
Pooh Bear Williams and Warrick Preston in there. The reverse to Philip Riley, and he's got room. Down the sidelines he may go. Knocked out of bounds at the 4-yard line. Philip Riley on the reverse. You know it has to come from Bobby Bowden at some point, and he goes to it early. Brian Dawkins, the strong safety, finally knocked him out of bounds.
Key to any reverse, of course, is the containment. Stop it right there, and you'll see this guy right here is the contained man. Watch how he loses his feet. He goes down, and there's nobody there for flood control. Go ahead and roll it. He goes down. See you later. Oh, escort in front of him.
Williams and Dunn in the backfield out of the eye. A 37-yard gain on the reverse. And here is Dunn on the sweep, trying to get outside. And he is stuffed at the 3-yard line. Number 16, Leamon Evans, and Dexter McLean were there to make the stop. And for Florida State, the offensive line, a very good one. It is anchored by their center, Clay Shiver, an All-American, and Jesus Hernandez, who had a very good game against Duke last week. Juan Laureano, the backup, and Hernandez switched back and forth with that split tackle. Second and goal at the 2. Straight ahead, and he's in the end zone. Touchdown, Florida State. Pooh Bear Williams.
It is going to be critical now, Terry, for Clemson to maintain its composure. 54 of their 84 guys are freshmen or sophomores. Florida State coming out like this and dominating early scoring just here in the first couple of minutes. You know, it's the kind of thing that'll deflate you early, but you've got to maintain your composure and continue to play well.
Well, Scott Bentley in for the extra point, and last week against Duke, Tim, Duke won the toss. They elected to defer to the second half, and that's what Clemson does here today. And Florida State drives right down the field on their first drive to take a 7-0 lead here in Death Valley.
Every down Bates. This is Fordham. Watch them go. Then watch number 77. Hernandez lead it up in there. Followed by Pooh Bear, who's 280 pounds. I'm telling you, folks, you're talking about 600 pounds just out of 2 guys leading it up in the hole. You have no shot to stop it.
Yeah, how many 280 fullbacks went straight ahead, huh, in college football? They list him at 260. He's nowhere near.
Then you lead with Hernandez, who's 290.
Andre Humphrey and Andre Williams back deep for the Clemson Tigers. Bentley's kick, 4 yards deep, and they'll bring it out. This is Humphrey out to the 16-yard line, and maybe not a very good decision to bring that one out of the end zone. Tackle made by Jermaine Green, number 42, who plays both ways for the Florida State Seminoles. Well, Clemson will have to get something going offensively early, Timmy. They did not want to see Florida State drive down the field on their first series and score. And right now there is a flag on the field, and that is back at the 37-yard line of Florida State. We'll try to sort it out.
Encroachment on the kicking team. 5 yards, re-kick.
So Clemson gets a break. Terry McCauley, the referee today, explained that they were offsides, which is normal for early in the season and early in a ball game. Want to sprint down and get into your lane. Sometimes you beat the kicker across that line, and they'll flag it in a hurry.
We talked to Tommy West, the head coach for Clemson, too, and he said kicking was going to be a very important part of this game. Now, he was an assistant coach at Clemson during the 80s under Danny Ford, and the wins over Florida State that they enjoyed in the close games that they had, he said the kicking game really played a large role.
Well, the kicking game normally does. I mean, remember the old punt Ruski that Clemson had? Florida State has used the kicking game a couple of times because these two teams have played fairly closely over the last decade. Of course, the last two have been a little bit shaky. Last year was 17-0. It was a blowout the year before for Florida State. But for the most part, the kicking game has been the biggest factor between these two.
Well, last year's 17-0 game, actually, in terms of the ACC and the fans, they figured that was a moral victory for Clemson. Everyone else was being blown out, and the whole Seminoles to 17 certainly was not considered a victory by Tommy West and the Clemson fans, but unlike most of the games in the ACC. So Bentley's kickoff again, and again Humphrey, this time at his own 1. Across the 20 out to the 24-yard line. So better field position for the Tigers after the penalty on Florida State.
With a 24-yard return.
Well, the young man who has led this team the second half of last year and now to start this year, Nealon Green, gaining confidence by the game, Tim.
Well, he really is, and one of the highlights for him is the fact that very few turnovers occur when Green plays. Last week he had 8 different receivers. He's playing with a great deal of confidence, although they want to keep that because he is relatively inexperienced.
Out of the eye, Emery Smith and Lamont Pegues, the starting backfield, and here's the quick out. And some room and a first down out to the 36-yard line. The quick hitter. And Clemson, a fine play on first down. A 12-yard gain. You look at the Chili starting lineup for Clemson. Raymond Priester and Antoine Wyatt, the big play man who was really a lot of their offense last year.
Wyatt's got that great speed. As a matter of fact, 4 receptions last week, 30 last year. Had 144 all-purpose yards last week. That's impressive. They want to get him involved here quickly.
Wyatt involved early on the first play, but he's straight ahead and he's going nowhere. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Sam Howard, the outside linebacker, number 56, was there to meet him. And the offensive line, a big one for Clemson. Glenn Roundtree, perhaps their best performer on that line.
Well, he's a junior college transfer. Young is a 4-year starter in Morgan. He grew up right here in Clemson, so he knows and lives the tradition of Tiger football.
Here's Green to throw. And overthrows Wyatt, who is popped right at the 40-yard line. Robert Hammond just laid a lick right on Antoine Wyatt to remind him that he's out there.
They say he has as much potential as anybody on that defense, and that he's a former or a future NFL guy.
Bernard Wilson gets the start today instead of Peter Boulware, who started last week. Wilson, returning sack leader in the ACC. And a fine defensive front. Orpheus Roy, maybe as talented as anyone that they've had in the last few years, and they've had some good ones.
Yeah, he's a first-round pick waiting to happen.
Raymond Priester alone back in there and Green to throw. Scrambling. Has a man. That's Priester who drops the football.
They're going to say he never had control. No, are they going to give him the completion?
No, incomplete. They rule it incomplete. Yeah. That's a play that they have to connect with.
Well, I know the sideline down there, Tommy West and his guys wanted the completion and the fumble out of bounds. Clemson ball there. I don't think he ever had control, and that's what the officials finally decided. It's a good play by Green, though. He made the defense commit, never lost his composure, just let it out there for him.
Samari rolled back deep, waiting for Chris McAnally's punt. No pressure. They set up the return. And a short kick by McAnally that Roll will field at his own 27-yard line. So a 38-yard punt and no return, and pretty good field position again for Florida State on their second series of the ball game. Well, you know, Florida State last week defeated Duke 70-26. It was Bobby Bowden's 250th win, and these are the names that he joined: Bear Bryant and a number of others. And everybody thinks it's a big deal. How about Bobby Bowden?
Nothing. It's amazing. You know, if I was through coaching, I think it might mean something. I think I'd go back and say, oh, man, look at here, 250 wins, you know. But right now, we've got another game, you know. And that one game scares you more than anything that happened behind you. So when I get through coaching one of these days, I'm going to look back and see what happened. Right now, I don't know and do not care.
Hey, he is a piece of work. Always congenial, funny, and extremely candid.
Warrick Dunn off the left side for about 6 yards on first down. And you know, you can laugh and joke like that when you've got guys like Warrick Dunn and Rock Preston and all the talent that Bobby's recruited here.
No huddle here. I can't tell you how important this is for the defense of Clemson now to make a stop. If they don't, this game could be over early.
Pooh Bear Williams and Rock Preston in the backfield out of the eye. Play action for Cannell over the middle. He's got a man, and it's dropped by E.G. Green. Wide open, the coverage by Leamon Evans, but he had it right in the breadbasket. So Clemson holds on the second series, and Timmy, as you said, very big series for their defense to stop Florida State.
Terry, this is huge. I mean, this is as big as it gets for Clemson.
3rd and 4 at the 34-yard line. Out of the shotgun, Cannell overthrows Green again. Covered by Andre Humphrey.
I think Cannell was a little bit confused. They came out with a combination defense, played a little man and zone to the backside. Cannell couldn't read it properly.
Well, the Clemson coaching staff talked about it. They want to change things up on Cannell and not make it easy for him to read the defense today.
Well, they had their 2 safeties, Dawkins and Evans, playing center field. Watch this thing. Well, we're not going to see it, but they were playing deep, and it looked like a zone coverage. They came in locked on quickly. Cannell didn't read it.
Sean List back for his first punt of the day. Anton Wyatt back at his own 23-yard line. We'll watch it bounce out of bounds, and Clemson will start at its own 19-yard line. 48 yards on the punt. Clemson football. 5th year. Tries to get win number 251. He doesn't think it's a big deal, but I'll tell you, there's some big names on that list.
Well, I played here when I was at Maryland. I can see why they call it Death Valley, and it is hot today. Feels like Death Valley.
High 80s. First and 10 and straight ahead for about 2 yards. Raymond Priester, I believe. Out of the shotgun.
Raymond Priester on the carry.
And for Florida State, the linebacking core, a good one. They get Darrell Bush back today. He was out last week with an injury. Howard and Reboll also leaders of that defense.
Yeah, but it's Bush who is the best of the bunch. He's quick, he's strong, he reads. He has no false steps. He looks like he is buff, too. I mean, he's playing with a sore knee, but I mean, he is cut.
Second and 7. Nealon Green off play action. He's got Tony Horn across the 30 in a big gain, and an important one as they get the first down on a gain of 11. An important series for Clemson. And Florida State's defensive backs, Sean Hamlet, the only returning starter, but Byron Capers, maybe the man under the spotlight today, Tim.
Well, he plays the boundary corner. He's the man-to-man guy. He'll get locked on a lot, but if there's a weakness to this Florida State defense, this is it. The secondary, not as strong as it has been in recent years.
Green on the option. Here's Priester over the right side, across the 40 to the 42-yard line. So, you know, we have talked about it. Clemson needs to establish the running game early in this game to instill some confidence and maybe loosen up that defense, and that's what they're doing right now.
Priester is probably one of the most versatile guys back there. He plays fullback most of the time. Took some reps at tailback this week. Ends up starting because Pegues has a pulled muscle, sprained ankle, bad knee. Although when he came out to practice Thursday, we watched him, and Pegues was running like a rocket. So I assume we'll see him too when Priester gets tired.
Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator for Florida State, trying to find a way to stop this offense right now. Second and 2 out of the eye. Green to throw. He's going deep to Horn. Just off his fingertips. The coverage by Capers right away, and they challenge him.
It's that man-to-man coverage we were talking about. They like to go to the boundary. Capers is the guy that plays to that short side. He gets locked on, and that time, to be honest, he did have a step. The ball was just a little bit out there too far.
Last week against Duke, that was the one part of the game that Bobby Bowden maybe wasn't entirely pleased with, the secondary and some of the mistakes that they made. A little bit undisciplined in the second half.
Yeah, but it's not having any talent back there. They've got plenty of talent. Right now, they're just learning the position. They aren't even lining up correctly sometimes, Bobby said.
Third and 2 for Clemson. Green to throw again. Overthrows Antoine Wyatt, who was covered by number 20, James Colsey, who was out some last week in an ankle injury.
As intended for number 19, Antoine Wyatt.
He may be inexperienced, but Green that time really did something smart. He saw that he was covered. It was a dangerous throw, the out pattern across the field, so he threw it away.
Back to punt for the Tigers, Chris McAnally.
Chris McAnally in for his second punt of the day. Samari Roll back at his own 13-yard line. Pretty good punt by McAnally. Up at his 18, here's Roll. Knocked down right away. Stopped at the 29. And a big hit. And good coverage by Clemson. CFA College Football on ABC Sports, brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Terry Gannon, Tim Brandt, and John Spagnola here at Memorial Stadium, better known as Death Valley in Clemson, South Carolina, as Florida State leads 7-0 with 9:49 left to go in the first quarter. And Danny Cannell with that lightning offense out of the shotgun again. 4 receivers in. A lot of time, and here's E.G. Green to his knees at the 34. A couple of yards short of a first down, gain of about 8. And for a moment, let's go down to the field and check in with John Spagnola. John?
Miles Aldridge, the defensive coordinator for Clemson, was giving his young linebacker, Adrian Dingle, a nice talking to after the first drive by Florida State, which was successful. A lot of inexperience at this linebacker position for the Tigers, and they need to play a disciplined defense like they did in that second.
Players in there, and a grad student, and a former quarterback. That's right. Cannell on 2nd and 2. Again complete. And it's Andre Cooper at the 42-yard line. So a first down for Florida State. Andre Humphrey, number 34, on the coverage and the hit. A 9-yard gain for the first down. And the defensive line for Clemson, led by Carlos Curry, the middle guard, who will have to go head-to-head with Clay Shiver all day long.
He's a senior, experienced, solid, fundamentally sound, 6'2", 285-pounder.
Out of the shotgun on first down. And over the middle, through the hands of Wayne Messon, who was well covered by number 29, Peter Ford, the cornerback out of Sumter, South Carolina. And the linebackers for Clemson. There you have a look at Adrian Dingle. First-year player, the freshman getting the start today. Patrick Sapp, of course, the quarterback the last couple of years, and has moved to the linebacking position and put on about 25 pounds as well. 2nd and 10, Cannell to throw. On the out to Green and broken up. He was double covered. And just off the fingertips of E.G. Green.
It's intended for number 19, E.G. Green.
Good play by Carter. We talked about the secondary of Florida State being their weakness. Well, for Clemson, that's their strength. You got a couple of guys that are going to be first rounders, led by Dawkins. He's the best defensive player they have.
3rd and 10 at the 42. Cannell overthrows his receiver again. Philip Wiley, the intended man, and Andy Ford on the coverage.
Right now, Clemson is moving its defense around. They're doing what they call stemming, giving them different looks, playing some combinations. Cannell is struggling with his reads right now. Consequently, he hasn't found any rhythm.
Bobby Bowden trying to find some way to move the football here against Clemson. Danny Cannell only 3 of 8 for 30 yards right now. And Liss into punt again. Here's Antoine Wyatt, who launches it bounce again. And a good bounce for Florida State inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. So 48 yards on the punt. And Clemson backed up inside their own 10.
They're conservative and had one of their worst games. And last week, Duke had over 400 yards of offense against them because of some mental mistakes and breakdowns, and Bobby's trying to eliminate that. For Clemson, they really do have to be unpredictable and run a lot of formations, run on passing downs, pass on running downs for early success, and then shorten the game as much as possible. They want to use as much of that game clock, and then the funnel clog deflate. I love that. You have to stop the runners outside, funnel them back inside, and then if you do that, it takes some of the air out of their tires and slows them down.
Can you funnel clog without deflating?
No, if you do that, they'll deflate in a hurry.
All ties in together. 1st and 10 at their own 10. The quick out and it's dropped. Antoine Wyatt had it and may have looked up before he caught it.
See, now he's deflated.
He is at this point. In fact, we brought it up during the commercial. You talked about it. Antoine Wyatt has twice let punts drop and bounce, and they've lost 15 to 20 yards both times.
You know, last year he was a receiver. He was a part-time tailback. They moved him around because they wanted to utilize his speed. He's got to keep his eye on the ball. He was looking to see where his blockers were, and he was also trying to look upfield. Right now, Green's just 2 for 7, 24 yards, but he's had 3 drops.
2nd and 10. And Priester now in the backfield along with Nealon Green. And it's going to be Priester over the left side. Pretty good gain across the 15 to the 16-yard line. And that will bring up 3rd and about 4. The hit made by number 48, Todd Reboll, and Darrell Bush, number 44. Bush, of course, back off that knee injury in this last week's game.
Just out of the shotgun, they run a little draw. Run nicely, and they pick up a few yards, but that's something that Florida State's not going to fall for. In the middle, they're packed tight. They're going to challenge them to throw the ball until Clemson has some success there. And by doing that, I mean they're going to load up against the run and say, come on, run at us. We dare you to throw.
First time a number 1 team has played here at Death Valley. Here's Raymond Priester, and he adds the first down. Some nifty running along the left side. Priester 6'1", 220 out of Allendale, South Carolina, the number 2 rusher for Clemson last year. And 8 carries for 61 yards against Western Carolina last week. And a game in which I think this Clemson offense really got their feet underneath them. You know, they scored 55 points and actually were accused at one point of running up the score themselves. And that's something that Tommy Lester said hasn't happened in a long time here in Clemson, at least a couple of years. So first down at their own 22, Kelton Duncan, he has fullback for the first time today. On the option, Green loses the football.
He may have lost it too. It may be Florida State ball.
It looked like Capers may have gotten in there to recover. Florida State thinks they have it, and they do. They'll unscramble, but they've already given the sign. Florida State football, and Byron Capers, number 23, the boundary cornerback, the man who recovered the fumble.
See, this is driving Tommy West crazy because he had nobody around him. He was wide open. I think it shocked him. He lost control, lost concentration, put it on the ground. Instead of falling on it, he couldn't control it. Went down to his knees, and they got it back.
he may have been shocked to find himself that wide open with so much room.
But that's the way that play is designed. They put wide receivers out there, spread the defense thin, created air. He went the backside. It was wide open.
So the Seminoles get a break, and certainly Tommy West feeling that they don't need any today. Pooh Bear Williams, Rock Preston in a split backfield. And Cannell under center as the backfield goes to the eye. Flag on the play. Complete inside the 10 to the 9 to E.G. Green. The hit made by Brian Dawkins, but again, there's a flag in the backfield. This one's got to be coming back.
For Clemson to have success today, for Clemson to have any chance, they've got to play a near-perfect ball game, and so far they haven't been doing it. You can't turn the ball over. Look, they get suckered up here on the play action. That frees it up in the secondary, and this ball is as well thrown as you possibly can. The ball was perfect. Clemson gets a break because of the penalty against the Seminoles. You can't cover much better than Brian Dawkins did on that play, but the ball was just perfect.
Brian Dawkins from Jacksonville, Florida. Took a lot of grief a couple of years ago when they lost 57-0. It was an illegal shift for the penalty against Florida State. Makes it 1st and 15. And here goes Rock Preston, only ahead for a couple of yards. And don't forget, tonight starts with an incredible hour starring two of the world's greatest illusionists, Siegfried and Roy, the magic, the mystery. You won't believe your eyes. Then finish your night with Gremlins 2, the new batch. All tonight here on ABC. 2nd and 14. Cannell to throw. Wide open at the 16-yard line and caught by number 19, E.G. Green. But another flag down back at the 37.
Lamont Evans is saying it was offensive pass interference. I don't think he's going to sell him on that. These last two passes, even with flags down, are the best that Cannell's thrown all day. He's 4 for 9, but those last two he threw perfectly.
Over the middle with one, and then the long out across the field to Green.
Take a look at this. This will be against Clemson, so they won't move Florida State back, but they come with a game. They play a little stunt. Cannell still has plenty of time, steps up, and he throws this with authority. See, he's getting into his rhythm now, and if that happens, look out.
That's a long throw across the field. And here's the no huddle again. They like to call it the lightning offense. First down at the 15. They give to Preston. He's got a hole. Down to the 5-yard line. A good gain for Preston on first down. Raymond Evans, number 16, made the stop. He may have saved the touchdown.
Well, just watch this hole. The offensive line fires out. Preston doesn't need much of one. But watch this. Stop it right there. Look at this hole that he's got. He could take it to the outside and score, but I mean, that hole is huge.
Good block by number 71, Todd Fordham. Again, he made a nice block on the first touchdown by Williams.
All right, so you have the turnover, Terry, that gave the ball back to Florida State. You had that last penalty against Clemson because they couldn't get the guys off the field fast enough, so they had too many guys on the field. They're killing themselves with mental errors, and you can't do that against the #1 team in the nation.
They don't need much help. 74-0 in the last two games against the Clemson Tigers. 17-0 last year. And after the measurement, they were just short, so it brings up second down and less than a yard. Pooh Bear Williams, Rock Preston out of the eye now. The give to Williams straight ahead. Is he going to get there? Yeah, no doubt about it. Pooh Bear with his second touchdown of the day. He scored 3 last week against Duke on the 6-yard run. And Florida State up now 13-0.
Folks, does he look like he's 275 pounds to you? That's a great athlete right there. Very tough to bring down. 6'1", 275. Had knee surgery last year out of Crescent City.
Drafted by the Chicago Cubs out of high school, as a matter of fact. Bentley on for his second point after try, and it is good. He had a couple blocked last week and missed one. So 2 for 2 on the day for Scott Bentley. And the Seminoles rolling with 5:58 left here in the first.
Watch this. This is sheer power, folks. will again show you the big hole, but look at him. He sneaks through and then just runs over people. You know, there's nothing really there to telestrate or show you other than sheer power. This guy is a big man, and he's taking on guys in the secondary. Now, the guy he runs over is 190 pounds, and he just pushes him right into the end zone. You take 275 pounds and put him up against a 190-pounder, I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, he'll put you in the end zone.
Well, you know, Bobby Bowden was really upset with Pooh Bear coming into camp because he came in at about 295, which for a fullback is a little bit heavy. And they list him, as I said, as 260. Really goes about 280.
And I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt and saying 275 because I don't want Pooh Bear mad at me.
Now, don't forget, at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be selecting a genuine Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game from each team. To date, Chevrolet has contributed almost $5.5 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. 4 plays, 30 yards, a minute 16 off the clock, and that's after the turnover by Nealon Green.
Well, you see guys just hanging on Pooh Bear as he carries him into the end zone. He doesn't look like a Pooh Bear.
A little bit far from the fridge. I don't think he's quite in the fridge category yet.
Of course, the fridge played here at Clemson.
Yes, he did. Well, the great players throughout the years for both of these teams. I mean, all the players who are playing in the NFL right now, but there have been some good ones throughout the years, as well as coaches. We mentioned Frank Howard, the legendary coach, and Howard's Rock still at the top of the hill today. Danny Ford, of course, with the great run in the 80s, the national championship for Clemson in 81. So Bentley to kick away again. Williams and Humphrey deep. And actually, this is Antoine Wyatt. Moving out to about the 17-yard line. So Clemson will start at his own 17-yard line. While we have a moment, let's take it to New York and check in with our buddy John Saunders. John?
All right, Terry, thanks a lot. Nebraska had jumped out to a 10-0 lead against Michigan State, but the Spartans fighting back. 3rd and 16. Tony Banks back to pass. Muhsin Muhammad, 16 yards on the reception. Lawrence Phillips already with 63 yards and a touchdown in the game. Terry.
All right, John, so a good one going there. And the 62 points last week had something to do with Florida State's 70 points against Florida State. Lamont Pegues straight ahead for a couple of yards on first down. That'll bring up 2nd and about 7. And we have this quick moment. Let's go down to John Spagnola. Spags?
Thanks, Terry. I got a quick sports trivia question for you. Which NFL stadium has the largest seating capacity?
Oh, I think that's an easy one.
Clemson Memorial Stadium, 81,473. It's a little bit larger than the Pontiac Silverdome and Rich Stadium, and this year it's the temporary home of the Charlotte Panthers. In one end zone, you have the Panthers. In the other end zone, you have the Clemson Tigers. Back to you, Terry.
Yeah, see, John was going to try to get us. He was going to give us that trick question, but we knew it.
You know, I knew it for some reason. Maybe the Panthers in the end zone had something to do with it. Carolina Panthers playing here this year, and Clemson, of course, owning the other end zone. And yeah, if they pack them in on the hill, it actually gets to about 83,000 here at Death Valley. They're building the new stadium right in uptown Charlotte.
You know, there have been a lot of national championships in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Clemson has one, Georgia Tech has one, Maryland has one, Florida State. Right now, the rest of the league's trying to catch up to Florida State now, though. They are in a league of their own.
3rd and 8, and Nealon Green out of the shotgun. Priester in as the setback. Green trying to run and grab from behind at the 19-yard line. Tyrant Marion from Pompano Beach, Florida, with the strong right arm.
Boy, it's good to see him back. You know, he had a knee injury that really slowed him down last year. He's worked on it, rehabbed it. Guy's 6'2", 255 pounds. He's gotten some speed back, and you could see it on that play. Good to have him back.
Boy, that front for Florida State is as talented as they've had. And you know, you're talking about Derek Alexander from last year, but the coaches think that this defensive front has more speed than they've ever had. Samari roll back, waiting Chris McAnally's punt. And off the side of the foot, a low line drive kick. And Roll watches it go out of bounds at the 26-yard line. So a fortunate bounce for McAnally and the Tigers. 54-yard punt. And it goes out of bounds at the 26-yard line, right about there.
You know, you talked about the guys that Florida State has lost. Derek Brooks, Alexander and Bush went to the NFL. Abraham's gone. And the defense for Florida State in recent years has featured guys like Marvin Jones and Derek Alexander, Terrell Buckley. And I think Bobby said it best. If he could prevent guys from going to the National Football League, they would be. even more dominant than they are now, but he's got such talent that they leave a little bit early, go play pro, and do quite well.
Well, Bobby has recruited throughout the years in South Carolina, but now that the coaching situation here is stable with Tommy West and Brad Scott in South Carolina, he said he may not go after them quite as much. Straight ahead, Rock Preston, actually Warrick Dunn to the 29-yard line. And let's go back to New York and check in with John.
All right, Terry, a little action in the SEC, LSU and Mississippi State. First play from scrimmage, Derek Tate back to pass, and he goes deep, 80 yards to Eric Moulds. 7-0 is the score for Tate, his 5th touchdown pass of the year. Terry.
Thanks, John. Eric Moulds, a guy who can fly. And here's a picked off pass. Back to the 34-yard line. There is a flag on the play. Picked off by Dexter McLean, Tim.
I think they're going to call pass interference. McLean got the tip. Ball came off. Dawkins may have been pushed. He was. He came up and hit early. That caused a deflection. We got to get John Saunders in that hurry-up offense because they aren't even huddling here.
So a possible big play for Clemson turns into a pass interference call. And Dawkins on the hit, and you're right with the tip. And Cannell with that lightning offense.
Pass interference.
Don't sleep on him.
On the defense. 15 yards, first down.
Dawkins is the Tigers' fastest guy. He's the leader in the deep zones, leading tackler in the secondary. But watch this. Number 20 comes up and actually makes the contact bump there. There's no question, good call. And McLean gets the tip. Looked like a turnover, but it's a good flag.
So Florida State now with the ball at their own 44 after a 15-yard penalty. In a moment while the officials sort things out down on the field.
The crowd continues to boo. They didn't like the call, but you could see the contact was made before the ball got there.
No, there was no question it was a good call. No, we talked about it at the top of the telecast. Clemson needing some play, something to happen early to give them some confidence. And so far, they've had a couple of chances, but it hasn't happened. And the turnover by Elon Green, the fumble led to the second Florida State score. So first and 10 at the 45, and there goes Warrick Dunn. Flag back at the line of scrimmage, and Dunn still on his feet. Inside the 25. Inside the 10 and brought down at the 6-yard line. Warrick Dunn with a long run. It looked like he was stopped a couple of times. Andy Ford finally brought him down. A gain of 48, but the flag laying down at his own 44-yard line.
Bring that one back, but boy, was that a well-designed play. You're talking about what looked to be a draw type. Cannell really carried out the fake.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards, still first down.
You know, when we talked about the keys to the ball game, it was Bobby Bowden who said they've got to eliminate the mental mistakes. Here's a 48-yard play, and they call it back because of holding.
Actually went straight to Warrick Dunn.
You know, I didn't see the holding, though. As a matter of fact, I was watching Bates. I thought he was the guilty party, but even though he had his hands extended, I don't think he ever locked or went wider than the shoulders.
Well, they back him up to the 34, so it's first and 21 now. Held the throw. Got a man out of the backfield. That's Rock Preston out to the 43-yard line. So he brings it almost to the original line of scrimmage. And that's one of the things, one of the many things that Florida State does so well, throw to their backs out of the backfield. Warrick Dunn, second returning pass catcher after last year. And Rock Preston also catches the ball very well. So second and 12, and down goes Cannell. The pressure by number 95, Hernan Randolph. And Tim, it looked like he hit him, but then Cannell just slipped on the turf after that.
Came from the backside. Randolph is another one of those guys. He missed last season because of an illness. 275-pounder came through almost untouched. But he's got great strength. I don't know if he just scared Cannell or whether he got one of those big bear paws on him, but he did go down.
You do hear those footsteps when a guy's 6'2", 270. Third and 17, a big play for the Clemson defense here. Cannell flushed out of the pocket. They now throws it up, and it's caught at the 44. Pass complete to Damian Harrell, but they don't gain much at all on the play. Tony Planton, number 96, the defensive end, on the pressure. And it looks like Bernard Randolph is down and injured.
They say the defense can change the tone of a ball game. Look at this right here. They came through, got a lot of good pressure, chased Cannell out of the pocket. I don't know what Cannell was thinking when he put this ball up for grabs. This could have been easily picked off, but he took some pretty good licks, put the ball up for grab, and it looks like Randolph is down injured. But the defense all of a sudden has changed the tone of the game and gotten the crowd back in it. Now it's up to the offense to get a couple of first downs and try to get some points on the board, keep this confidence going, this sustained little change they've got here.
And I believe that's Bernard Randolph, who was injured and now is sitting up, which is a good sign.
He had a nice little series there.
Yeah, absolutely. He had the sack a moment ago on Danny Cannell, and now pressured Cannell out of the pocket. So Sean Liss into punt. He'll let it go right about his own 37. Quan Wyatt, we'll see if he catches this one. Yeah, his own 7. Looking for room. Still on his feet. And brought down, knocked out of bounds at the 19-yard line. So this time Wyatt fields the punt and a nifty little return of about 11 yards. Now, Tommy West has enjoyed this atmosphere here at Death Valley for many years as an assistant, now a head coach, and certainly wants to use that.
There is a tremendous amount of pride, and there's no way that I could sit here and tell you the pride in playing in that stadium over there. I think our football team now understands what that means, and what we talk about is we're not here to enjoy what's been built or enjoy the tradition and the reputation that Clemson has. We're here to try to carry that on.
Part of that tradition, fine running backs. There's the fullback, Emery Smith, straight ahead for a first down. Emery, the brother of someone you may know.
Yeah, he looked like Emmett on that play. Brother of Emmett Smith of the Dallas Cowboys, but Emery's a little bit bigger at 6 feet, 238 pounds. I think Emmett's just about 5'8 and a half. Boy, he ran with power that time and authority.
No, one thing Emery won't do today that Emmett did on Monday night is maybe celebrate. After some of these scores, no more celebrations in college football. Lamont Pegues ahead to the 35-yard line, and let's take you back to New York and check in with John Saunders. John?
Thanks a lot. Kevin Falk here of LSU takes off and goes 10 yards for the touchdown and ties this game up with Mississippi State. We'll keep you updated right now. Terry, back to you.
All right, John. Jerry DiNardo in his second game as head coach. Tied up 7-7 with Mississippi State. Clemson ahead for maybe 2 yards. The ball carrier Emery Smith once again, so that'll bring up 3rd and about 3 for the Tigers.
Good move by head coach Tommy West of Clemson. He had Priester running a tailback. Now he takes him out and puts some fresh legs in there. That's Lamont Pegues, who we said we saw it at practice the other day, was running well. Pegues has that bumper pool style of running, and we'll also have Smith in there as the pounder. There's Pegues.
So Smith and Pegues in the eye on 3rd and a long 3, maybe 4. The pitch to Pegues. Stopped right near the marker. We'll see if he has the first down.
I think he's got it.
Robert Hammond, number 6, made the hit.
Here in
Pretty good hit.
Here in Clemson, you get favorable marks. That's a first down.
The crowd helping to make the call.
Is a great place to play. Boy, what a fantastic crowd they get here for the Tigers.
I mean, you played here as an opponent.
You really did. You know, when they come running down that hill to start things, when I was at Maryland, they brought us up to midfield just to watch them.
Has anyone ever fallen? That's what I want to know coming down. Here's Nealon Green lapped up in the backfield.
Well, that's what we were waiting for. That's why we came up to midfield. We thought somebody might pull a hamstring or trip or something.
Have not seen that yet here in Clemson. So the end of the first quarter, Florida State ahead by a couple of touchdowns. 14-0. Back in a moment.
You put the chicken on the grill and you smoke it all up. Put the cheese on the chicken and you wrap it all up with the guaca. You put the guacamole with the pico. Sprinkle on pico de gallo. Put it all in a tortilla. And now you got a chicken.
intensity.
I was out in Green Bay 2 weeks ago for one of their preseason games. Boy, Favre, that entire team looks solid.
Well, the Bears surprising early on, too. And Tony Horn gets a surprising hit at the 45. That's the pass complete to Horn, and he is knocked straight to the turf by number 23, Byron Capers.
Comes a big third down play now. He just doesn't run this pattern deep enough. Again, Green has time. Look at the protection he gets. He just drills him off. They try to run off the corner on that side, but he didn't take the bait. He didn't go with the deep man, just stayed in his zone. Came up and made the play. Very, very solid by Capers.
Capers, we mentioned he would be tested today, and so far he's passed the test. 3rd and 6. Green trying to scramble out of it. And the crowd wants an interference call, but of course it's in the backfield and the ball was tipped both, so no flag on the play. Green under pressure and had the ball tipped. Lamont McGee's the intended receiver.
Boy, watch the pressure off the right side. They come in. There's a man free. Now the ball is tipped by Orpheus. Watch Orpheus Roy get his hand on it. And you said it, once that ball's tipped, everybody's free game. No interference call. Good no call.
4th and 6, and McAnally in the punt once again. Under pressure, this one's blocked. Florida State with the block, and they have it at the 36-yard line. So, Tim, 2 big plays in this game so far. The fumble by Nealon Green, and now the block on the McAnally punt.
Actually, there's more than that, Terry. Not only the fumble, but the kicking game for Clemson has been horrendous. One of the 4 don'ts of the kicking game is don't let the ball hit the ground and don't get anything blocked. Watch this thing. You've got 3 guys that could possibly block this. Actually, more than that, it looked like a jailbreak. Everybody came through free. I don't know what they were doing. There was absolutely no protection.
Vernon Crawford may have been the man to get the hand on it. I'm not sure. I know Rodney Wells recovered it.
Breakdown of the kicking game has been terrible for Tommy West Club.
So first down at the 37. Cannell out of the shotgun and goes to his back. That's Brock Preston. Up the sideline, knocked out of bounds at the 25. So a good gain on first down for Preston and the Seminoles. And you just cannot allow this team any more breaks than they would normally get in a football game. I mean, they don't need any.
No, you give them the ball right here, and for Florida State, that's like running downhill. You shorten the field that much, they're going to score on you.
So they move the change. And the ball at the 26. And Andrews drops it on the exchange from Cannell. It goes right back to the Clemson Tigers. And what a big turn of events. Cannell was trying to hand it to Dennis Andrews. And Tony DeSue, number 33, comes up with it.
Everybody's saying, yeah, you think they're going to score? Watch this. Florida State makes mistakes, too. Cannell just let it hang in there on the fake too long. He got it caught up on the hip. All right, so that's a big turnover and gives another shot at the Tigers. Watch this, though. You watch the head of Cannell. He lets the ball sit there. He's looking downfield already. And because he leaves it on the hip, just stays there and gets caught on the hip, and it's gone.
And DeSue, who broke his hand on Wednesday in practice, did not start today, but makes a big play here with the recovery. Here's Pegues to the 46. 15 yards on the carry for Lamont Pegues. Sean Hamlet, number 18, the free safety, knocked him out of bounds.
Clemson's not going to die. This is a club that's averaged over 20 points a game over the last 5 years. Look at this hole. Again, it looks like it's almost a draw. It's a play-action type thing. Now, if you can get your receiver to throw a block, you're in business. Didn't get one, though. Horn just kind of played with him, tap danced with him, and didn't throw the block, but that's a big game by Pegues.
The pitch again to Pegues, and turning the corner out to the 49-yard line. Actually, inside the 45 to the 41. So Pegues, a couple of good carries. Travis Sherman, the middle linebacker, knocked him out there, but some more emotion, maybe some more confidence for this Clemson squad.
Boy, Pegues has come off the bench and give this club a lift. You know, Clemson has 5 tailbacks. Not one of them had ever started a college game until last week. Pegues is playing with a sprained ankle, a bad knee, but he looks terrific.
The numbers on Pegues, not bad at all here in the first half. He gets a breather. Priester now in there, and they're going to throw him a little flare. He's got some green. Dances a gain of about 8 on first down, and Clemson moving the football here. These fans over the last 5 to 6 years have waited for a big chance like this.
It's a well-designed play. They slip him out. They're in a zone coverage. They got to get help from the backside. Clyde Christensen, the offensive coordinator here, is trying to spread the field. So far it's worked in this drive.
Timeout on the field. We'll take one as well. 149 minutes, 2 seconds. They have gone without scoring against Florida State. And this crowd may be sensing a change in that streak. Raymond Priester, a long setback. They give it to him, and he's got a little bit of a hole. He gets the first down inside the 30. But knocked down by Sam Howard, who may have saved the big game.
You mentioned the offense, Terry. This offense for Clemson was terribly inconsistent last year, according to the coaches. And they say consistency is not only the key this season, but especially today.
Well, they've been able to move the ball. They had the fumble and a couple of mistakes with the kicking game, but they have moved it.
And that's you. That's a young team will do that.
Here's Pegues back in, trying the right side, trying to get outside. And a gain of about 7 on first down. Sean Hamlet, the free safety, number 18, made the stop. But, you know, this Clemson offense right now, staying on the ground and moving the football.
Clemson now trying to spread the field from sideline to sideline and really spread the defense thin and then run the ball. They come out in passing formations. Now watch how wide they go. They're going sideline to sideline here.
4 receivers in, and Priester back in for Pegues. Priester straight ahead. Close field goal.
I think at this point of the game, down 14 points, I'd try to go and get the first.
Priester bounces off a man, and he's got the first down and much more. Raymond Priester with a touchdown for Clemson.
Second effort. Now watch 19. Look at the block he throws. That's Wyatt. Oh, that's a great play. Hinch got a block number 6. Priester took it in. Clemson right back in the ball game. These guys are so young, they don't know they're not supposed to be able to play with the #1 team in the country.
Over 140 minutes over the past couple of years without a score, and Priester gets him on the board with a 21-yard run.
Offsides on the defense. That's Florida State. That's exciting, isn't it?
There is no question that the fans in this town, we've been here since Thursday, and you talk to the players and coaches, they felt that they had a great chance of winning this game. And they're right back in it for the extra point by Savay. So the emotion on the side of the Clemson Tigers right now here in Death Valley.
You know,
John Saunders will have scores and highlights from all of today's action. And Robin Roberts on Notre Dame's fall from grace. The loss last week to Northwestern. And of course, later on today, right after our game, they take on Purdue at West Lafayette. And a very good Purdue team as well. Jim Alstott in the backfield. Big test for the Irish on the road. 14-7 here. Florida State with the lead, and Clemson with the drive for a touchdown to get back in this thing.
Defense started it with a turnover. The offense, 7 plays, 6 runs. Ran it right down and scored. See if that little goose now to the rest of the team can really pick everybody up. See if it carries over into special teams here. Boy, this place is rocking. The crowd's in it.
82,000, probably about 79 in orange shirts. And a little pooch kick now from Savay. Fielded at the 30. And that's Pooh Bear ahead to the 42. So the pooch to Pooh Bear. And great field position for Florida State here. And we take you down to the field. Check in with John Spagnola. John?
Thanks, Terry. And talking to Bobby Bowden yesterday about last year's game against Clemson, which Florida State only won 17-0, he lamented that he got a little too conservative on offense. Got in the scoring area, and they weren't able to even get field goals out of it. Interesting to see what's going to happen now with Clemson getting on the board and only a 7-point win. Will Bowden open it up, or will he get conservative like he did last year? Terry?
John, it's a good point, too, and they have not been challenged in an ACC game in a long, long time. 25 straight wins. Here's Rock Preston across the left side and slammed to the ground. At the 45 after a gain of about 3, Raymond White, the defensive end, number 97, was there first.
You know, that's a good point he makes. We talked about that in the keys to the game, get everybody involved early, because that conservative game against Clemson last year had one of their worst games of the season here. Only won at 17-0. And as you mentioned, now with just a 7-point lead, we'll see if the defense of Clemson can really make this a tight fit situation for the Noles.
So a gain of 3 on first down brings up 2nd and 7. And Cannell trying to change the play, which is not easy with this crowd. And batted down. Big Lamarick Simpson, number 99 out of Rock Hill, South Carolina, got the hand in the air.
Just watch number 99. He's 6'3". He's got a huge wingspan, and he uses it all here. Here comes 99, right of your screen. Go up. Cannell has to throw over him. No chance. That's just a bull rush with a big wingspan.
Cannell rolling out on 3rd and 7, a lot of time. Incomplete, overthrown. The intended receiver, Andre Cooper, who was well covered. Dawkins was there. Andre Humphrey was there.
How about McClellan? There's a talented athlete right there. He started football, he starts in baseball. Watch number 9 on this. Again, the ball is high and it's well covered. Number 9 goes up at its highest point, uses the sideline almost like an extra man, the 12th man on defense.
And Clemson has now called a timeout. So as they get set to receive a punt, they're down by only a touchdown here in the second quarter. Down to the knee after a gain of about 2 yards. Return of about 2 yards to the 17-yard line. So a 41-yard punt, 2-yard return.
You know, for Tommy West, though, this has to be a positive sign. They've had a lot of breakdowns here. They've had penalties, turnovers, 10 men on the field instead of the 11. They've let the ball hit the ground on punts, and yet they're still down to the #1 team in the country by just 7 points. And I guarantee you he will hammer that home in the locker room at halftime.
And they've stayed on the ground, especially in the last drive. We'll see if they stick with the running game here. 3 receivers, Pegues and a tailback, and here is Lamont. Bounces off 1 man, gets ahead for about a yard. Not much going on there.
Terry, the one thing that surprises me to this point is Clemson's not using a lot of the clock. They wanted to let that play clock go down to 3 or 4 seconds. Really kind of shorten this game. They haven't been able to do that. For instance, the last couple of snaps they've gotten with 16 seconds on the play clock.
And as a player, does the crowd and the emotion sometimes make you do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do or want to do?
I don't know if it ever hurts you. I know it can help you. It gets that adrenaline flowing if it's the home crowd.
Straight ahead across the 20 to the 21-yard line.
Only time a crowd can really hurt you with the noise is if you can't hear a change or a check-off or a snap count.
It is hot here today as well. The fans are out, of course. The fans are all orange.
One of the best crowds in the country. Football here's a way of life.
This is college football. 3rd down and 6, Priester in. Green trying to throw. Over the middle, and did he get his man? That's Tony Horn at the 31. They call it a reception, but there is a flag down.
That's in the area thrown of contact. And they're going to call it offensive. That receiver uses his hands to get an advantage, and there is contact after 5 yards. He'll call it.
Pass interference. on the offense.
Don't worry about him, folks. He'll have him winning here in a hurry.
Yep. 3rd and 17. The delay to Priester. It's about 3, and that's about it. Kenya Crooks having a word with
back to punt for the Tigers.
Tommy West on the sideline.
And Dean Feaster to the team.
Dean Feaster back deep for Florida State. Feaster watches it bounce. And close to hitting a Florida State man, and Feaster falls on it at the 40-yard line. A dangerous play for the Seminoles, and that's where they'll take over at the Clemson 40. And let's take it to New York. Check in with John Saunders. John? That's another injury.
But the good news for Nebraska is I don't think you lose a whole lot when you come in with Barrington.
Warrick Dunn through the middle, bouncing off. Inside the 20. Still on his feet. Trying to get to the end zone. And inside at the 3-yard line. A look at certainly one of the Heisman Trophy candidates this year. And one of the hardest guys to tackle in all of college football. A 35-yard gain.
He's got world-class speed. He could have consecutive 1,000-yard rushing seasons through that 55-yard option pass last week. Watch him here, though. You know, this guy is special. Breaks a tackle with strength and then takes it outside with speed.
The dive by Pooh Bear ahead for a couple of yards and down to the 2-yard line. Oh, you just can't tackle the guy, you know. And coming into the year, the first team for Florida State, the defensive team, found that out.
You know, Dunn is a great story, too. After a conversation with Bobby Bowden and Mark Richt in the parking lot, proved he was durable. He asked for the ball, went up to the coaches, talked to him after practice one day. He says, can you just give me the ball and watch what I do with it? They gave it to him. He touched the ball more than 20 times per game the last 6 games, and bingo. He's a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Absolutely. 2nd and goal at the 3. Here's Warrick trying to get to the end zone. Near the goal line, did he get in?
Yes, touchdown. Backside officials already signaled the touchdown. The guy on the play hasn't. Touchdown.
We'll go with him. Warrick Dunn into the end zone, and Florida State now up 20-7. And of course, that started with a good field position at the 40-yard line of Clemson. So they take it about 40 yards in. Scott Bentley, who missed a couple of field goals last year against Clemson inside the 35 and lost his job for a while to Dan Mowry. Now is perfect on the afternoon with the extra point.
Boy, Dunn ought to go over and shake hands with Pearsall and Tyre because they threw key blocks. He just follows. See old Tyre, number 66, and it dives into the end zone. He went over 100 yards last week. He's off to a big start. Look at this block. Stop it right there. I mean, this is incredible right here. You're getting Pearsall and Tyre out there. All Dunn now has to do is just dive for that corner. That's fantastic. That's why they're number 1 in the country. You get guys running like that. Tyre is 6'5", 275. Pearsall's 250. That's a lot of beef to lead you around that corner.
Now, you've got a guy named Pooh Bear, too, at fullback, 280 pounds plus, starting out the play. Some big people to run behind, and this man can run. So it's 21-7, and you see Warrick Dunn trying to stay away from the effects of the sun on the sideline. It is hot and humid here in Clemson.
Well, that's a cool pack, too. It's got coldness in it. The FSU team, number 1 in the nation, just blessed with a good blend of experience, speed, talent, and a sweet schedule this year.
Back to receive.
Yeah, they've got, what, 8 games in the state of Florida this year.
Sure do. And replace Notre Dame with Central Florida. Of course, Florida at Gainesville would be the big hurdle for them.
Bentley to kick it off again. And here is Wyatt. To the outside. And a blocker and knocked down at the 44-yard line. So another fine return by Antoine Wyatt. Returns at 41 yards, and Clemson, good field position again. A lot going on for Clemson here, a lot going on in New York. We check in with John Saunders on Texas Tech and Penn State. John?
Terry, Penn State is struggling following a fumbled punt. Sevi Lethbridge takes over for Texas Tech and finds Fields Scoville 20 yards And Tech right now leads it 14-7. We'll keep you updated. Back to you, Terry.
Number 14 in the country, Penn State. Down by a touchdown at this point. Here's Pegues looking for room. And they're not going to find a whole lot. Up to the 49-yard line. Robert Hammond was there. Samari Roll was there. Now next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on ABC's College Football, Tennessee battles SEC rival Florida. Pittsburgh takes on Texas. We will be there, our trio. Other regional action as well. Check your local listings for the game in your area and call your local cable operator for the games available on pay-per-view. That's next Saturday here on ABC Sports. And we will be in Austin.
Looking forward to it. Another great college football scene.
2nd and 6. Emery Smith maybe gets a yard.
Number 18, Emery Smith.
For years they've been an option team. Now certainly Tommy West would like to balance that out some, and they throw here on 3rd, and that ball is thrown behind Antoine Wyatt. And he had him open as well. Demetrio Stevens, the middle linebacker on the coverage. And there's the teaching that goes on the sidelines for the young quarterback.
Telling him not to wait. Just get back and fire. Don't aim it. Just react. He's a good athlete. Let it go.
Green now 4 of 12 for 36 yards. Montanelli with another punt and a good one. Beat Priester back at his own 9-yard line and calls for the fair catch. So a good punt by McAnally in tough field position for the last 5:16 of the first half. We've seen his team play pretty well, but Bobby Bowden's offense awfully explosive. And here is Dennis Andrews ahead for maybe 2. Stops at the 12-yard line by number 41, Anthony Simmons.
See, Terry, Tommy West now is going to keep a close eye on that clock. You've got 5:02 to go. This is the worst field position for Florida State today. If you can get the defense to make a stop here and make them punt, then he's going to have good field position and maybe can reel this thing in a little bit before the half.
No, Florida State has had good field position. They started the last drive at the 40-yard line in Clemson. Only Clemson's defense is playing that bad, especially look at the young linebacking core with a couple of freshmen in there, a first-year player from Patrick Sapp, who was the quarterback last year, and Henry McCoy, the only veteran.
Halfback option.
Dunn throws down the field, and Cooper covered well by Dexter McLeon. They threw it for 55 yards last week against Duke, and this time well covered by the secondary.
Terry, you're right. Well covered. Dunn didn't do a very good job. As soon as he got it, he showed pass, halfback option pass, but the corners really stayed with their assignment, never came up to stop the run. Red pass, stayed with pass, and made a nice play.
So 3rd and 8, and the crowd again to its feet. 4 receivers in for Florida State, but they give it to Dunn. Not even close. Ahead for 3. That's it. And Clemson holds. Andre Carter was in there. Carlos Curry was there. Sean Liss again back into punt right about his old goal line. Low kick. Here's Antoine Wyatt at his 45. Has a seam. And caught by the ankles at the 42-yard line. 41-yard punt, 14 yards. The Clemson 1st and 10. Here's Raymond Priester, the tailback. Bounces away from a couple and gets to the 41.
Number 27.
Rain of maybe a yard and a half, and John Spagnola has some news. Spags?
Terry, last week against West Carolina, the football team for Clemson actually ran a 2-minute drill. Tommy West was stopped going off the field by a fan and said he's been around for 100 years and he has never seen a 2-minute drill run by Clemson. We'll see if they go to the shotgun and try and get this ball in the end zone.
Well, they've run that option, kept it on the ground for years and years. Here's Priester keeping it on the ground, and he gains maybe 3 down to the 36-yard line. Peter Boulware, the defensive end out of Columbia, South Carolina, made the hit.
I'm not sure they have to go to anything.
The option out of the eye, Green to keep it. And he has the first down inside the 30. Good decision by Nealon Green to keep it that time.
Oh, what a great read it was. He saw Darrell Bush. He came up and actually committed to the pitch man. Once he did that, he cut it up. Now he's going to take it right down the line of scrimmage. He's right now reading. All right, here comes the defensive end. See 45, boom, commitment. Now turn it up. That's a great read because as soon as 45 made that commitment, Crockett was out of the play. You turn it up under Crockett 45 and you make the first.
2:18 and counting. First down at the 29. Clemson trying to see something positive happen here before they go to the locker room. McGee's is deep in the backfield. He gets the call and bounces off of Henry Crockett and stopped after a couple of yards. A big hit by Crockett. The brother of Zach Crockett, last year's fullback.
Gain of 2 yards on the play. 2nd and 8 from the 27.
All you have to do now is get another 10 yards, and you're in Save's territory right now, the field goal kicker.
And listen to the hit here. So you want to be a college football player, huh?
Yeah, well, we told you, McGee's has that bumper pool style of running. He gets tagged, bounces off, keeps going.
4 receivers in, Green to throw here on 2nd and 8. Scrambling, looking, dancing, out of bounds. Well, he got out of the grasp of a couple of tacklers, but under pressure the entire way, and good coverage in the secondary.
Yeah, he made a great decision that time not to throw. He really wanted to throw that ball, kept looking before he crossed the line of scrimmage, but a good coverage. He read that, didn't put it up for an interception. It's tough to get a young guy like this with only 7 starts to be this disciplined. Look, he wants to throw. He feels the pressure again. Looks like he's going to throw it and finally says, nope, I'll keep it safe, make sure we don't turn it over.
Well, they need about 7 here on 3rd down. They picked it up a moment ago. Out of the shotgun is Green. Priester in the backfield. Green to run. And brought down at the 22, shy of the first down. A nice play by the Florida State defense because he did have some running room.
That was a design quarterback draw. Now, do you go for it here when you need 1, maybe 2 yards, or do you go for the field goal? I say you got to go for the field goal. Save's longest is 45. This will be just about 40 yards, maybe a little less.
And Clemson will call the timeout to talk it over. So the holder, Travis Harvey, will put it down right at the 28-yard line. And it is no good. Wide to the right. He had plenty of distance, but Save misses the 38-yard field goal attempt. And it stays 21-7 Florida State. Let's take it to New York and check in with John.
Well, Terry, Joe Paterno had been complaining all week his team's practices were lackluster, and it's showing today. Zebi left with 7 yards to Byron Hanspard. They missed the point after, but Texas Tech leads it 20-7. Terry.
John, last week you tell us Notre Dame gets beat by Northwestern. Now you've got Texas Tech all over Penn State. Not a bad start to the college football season, isn't it?
No, how about Notre Dame, though? In its last 8 games, 2-5-1, with the only 2 wins coming over.
And here's the reverse to Philip Riley, almost down in the backfield, but he gets away. And out to the 30, and flags coming from all over the place now. I think every official who had a flag in his pocket threw one that time.
Yeah, whatever happened, I think they certainly got the attention of the striped shirts. Looked like Clay Shover.
Clip against Florida. But the fans in Death Valley still excited about where their squad is. 2 touchdowns down, but they played pretty well. And Bobby Bowden's team going to the locker room here at halftime with a nice lead. But you know, the kicking game very important here in the first half. Clemson with some mistakes, and maybe Bobby Bowden fortunate to have the 14-point lead.
Well, I think very much Florida State is in control. I don't think there's any question about that, but it was a turnover that led Clemson to that touchdown, and offensively, that's the best execution that Clemson had all day. When they had that turnover, they just jammed it down inside. The running backs picked up, and on that one drive, it went 7 plays. They ran the ball 6 times. It was 69 yards, took it 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and you know, they've got almost 150 yards rushing already. That's pretty big for Clemson.
Now, the Niners are holding a press conference, maybe stealing Jerry's thunder. Hey, Mort, how does this fit under the salary cap for Dallas?
Well, Mike, believe it or not, Eugene Parker, Deion's agent, and Jerry Jones has managed to make this very salary cap friendly. In fact, I think it's going to be less than $2.5 million against the Cowboys cap this year. The way they do that, the signing bonus gets prorated over the life of the contract. Technically, the life of the contract will be 7 years into 2001, but it gets voided out in 1999, and Mike, 1999 is an uncapped year, so it works both ways for Deion and Jerry Jones.
And a couple of seconds on Deion's ankle.
Deion Sanders is going to need arthroscopic ankle surgery to correct a little bone spur problem. Doctors have told him probably 2 to 3 weeks that it will affect him. However, that does make him available for the November 12th game against the 49ers, or at least questionable on the injury report, Mike.
All right, you'll have more on SportsCenter and, of course, NFL Game Day at 11:45 tomorrow. Good job, Mort. Thanks. Let's get everyone updated now on the college football story, starting with State 20-7. Number 2 Nebraska, at Michigan State, the debut for Nick Saban. Not happy early. His team down 3-0. Lawrence Phillips takes Tommy Frazier's handoff, breaks a huge 38-yard gain, plus a face mask. The Huskers punch it in 3 plays later. It's 10-0. Herbie the Husker, by the way, is back by popular demand. Nebraska, though, getting a scare here. Tommy Frazier catches Jabbar Threat's knee in the left thigh. The early report from Lansing.
Number 47, Bernard.
251. Second play from scrimmage into the bag of trickery. Dunn gives it to Philip Riley. And the FSU track star, they're all track stars in shoulder pads for the Noles. He gets it down to the 4, Pooh Bear Williams.
If you're just joining us, Clemson had a chance to pull within.
Here is Pooh Bear again. He has 6 carries this year, folks. 5 of them touchdowns. Florida State at that point up 14-0. They now lead.
Sideline has room across the 40 and down at the 48-yard line. So a big play from scrimmage to open up the second half. A gain of 24 with a tailback. Raymond Priester, Samari Roll made the stop. And we do apologize for the difficulty we had at the beginning of this half, technical difficulties, but everything is in order right now, and we should be fine throughout the rest of the second half.
Boy, can Priester motor for a guy that size. He's 225 pounds, got around the corner, looked like a sprinter.
So Clemson first and 10 at midfield. Here's Priester on the pitch. Out of the grass from a couple of tacklers, and a good run again, but a 6-yard gain for Raymond Priester.
Interesting adjustment that time by Florida State. They took their defensive ends, Marion and Bowden.
Up front, the Tigers doing a pretty good job against that defensive front of Florida State.
Boy, this is what you want, too. Second down and 4, you can pass or run, keeps the defense on its heels.
3 receivers and the backs in the eye. Priester straight ahead. Still motoring and close to a first down. He's about to the 41-yard line. Feet now on 3rd and just under 2 yards. Raymond Priester ahead for the first down inside the 40.
Navy. Well, who would ever think that would happen with all the athletes they have?
Yep. They've lost a number of assistant coaches over the years, but I feel like they can get the athletes in the South Bend. And the Florida State defense wraps up Priester in the backfield. Andre Wadsworth, Robert Hammond in there.
Well, I'm not sure. They needed 1 yard for the first down, and they went wide. So Florida State brings its strong safety. Hammond, watch this. Number 6 is a strong safety. They go up. They take the quarterback. Hammond takes the pitch man. That play goes nowhere.
Yep. So a loss of 3 after they gained the first down in the previous carry. So it's 2nd and 13. Elon Green to the shotgun for the first time here in the second half. Long time to throw, and that's dangerous. And it's picked off. Number 56, Sam Powell, with the interception. And again, the mistakes come back to haunt Clemson. They start to move the football to open up the second half, and then the pass picked off after the tip.
Florida State playing with a lot more confidence defensively. They're much more aggressive, and they've made some interesting adjustments. They're staying wide. They're bringing pressure, and they were in a zone that time, and the tip resulted in an interception. Nice defensive series.
You have to believe that Tommy West in the locker room mentioned how important it was to make a drive, put some points on the board to open up the second half, and now another crucial turnover.
Had a pretty good drive going. Got it first.
Yeah. First and 10 at the 31 now for Florida State. And early in the first half, on the fumble, after the fumble by Elon Green, they drove down the field and scored. Let's see if they take advantage again. Straight ahead is Dunn for a gain of maybe 1.5 yards, 2 yards. And John Spagnola down on the field with some news. Spags?
Terry, I talked to Bobby Bowden and Danny Cannell coming out at halftime, and they don't believe Clemson's done anything to stop them. They believe they have hurt themselves with penalties, misassignments.
As well. Danny Cannell not having the best of days. To the air. Philip Riley, and almost picked off. Dexter McCleon, who has had a good day in the secondary. Step for step. And almost had that one.
You know, that's like you draw it up on the board. McClean actually funneled him to the sidelines and then kept him pinned there, played him inside out, and he actually then became the receiver.
Only man really with a chance to catch that ball. And it brings up third and a long 9. Pooh Bear Williams and Warrick Dunn out of the eye. And Cannell on the play action. And down he goes. Patrick Sapp wrapped him up. Along with number 92, Brett Williams. And a big sack on third and long for Clemson.
How about that? Watch number 3. Here he is right here. Let him go. Turn him loose. Former quarterback. This time last year, he was the strong-arm Clemson quarterback. This time he's going after one. He says when you get a good hit on a guy, it feels just like a sack.
He wouldn't have known the last couple of years. He was playing QB. Walked on the basketball team this year. Wyatt at his own 29-yard line with the fair catch. So the defense for Joe Woods, and broken up by Samari Rowe, and here comes the flag. And Tim, the right hand was there with the tip, but the left hand was in the back.
Well, you're right. You sound like you played some defensive back. That's exactly the way to play it. Might want to even tug his jersey a little bit. That's a good play if you don't get caught. Here he gets caught. This ball is well thrown, but watch number 2. That's Samari, and he's got that hand on the back. Comes in, makes that contact. Looked like a great play. Actually looked like old Deion Sanders, but look at that left hand wrapped around him. You cannot do that. That's a good call.
Step for step with Joe Woods, but Clemson goes to the air after keeping it on the ground time after time, and they go for the big play and get a big call.
So that'll be 15 yards. First down, move the chains.
Yep. So they pick it up at the 44. 3 receivers in, and they work out of the eye, a long count. Montaguese ahead for maybe a yard. That's about it.
Well, I like that rule a lot. You know, when you think about
it, and get a call like that, now it's 15 instead of the entire yardage. Second down and 9. That's a 45. Green on the option. There goes Pegues. Hit, spins, knocked out of bounds at midfield. Myron Capers, the boundary corner, knocked them out of bounds. And let's go down to the field and check in with John.
The guy down there putting where it is, guys are going to start playing tentatively back there. We like to beat on you a little bit.
We'll settle this later.
What do you expect from a guy from Yale, huh? 3rd and 4 out of the shotgun for Green. Marcus Hint with a nice catch up in the air, and he's got a first down. Marlon Green on the coverage and the tackle, but not before. Green completes one for another first down. And it looks like Shevin Smith, the strong safety, is injured for Florida State. He's back at the 40-yard line. Clemson.
Shevin Smith.
And we're talking to Clyde Christensen, the offensive coordinator. He says, yeah, we played him earlier than we wanted to, but now we're glad we did because he's got some experience.
Green changing the play at the line. The option, here goes Raymond Priester, and cuts back at the 40 and knocked to the ground right at the 40-yard line.
Number 27, Raymond Priester.
That play's picking up about 5 yards per pop. We got a good block that time by Tony Horn.
Vernon Crawford knocked him to the turf. And Priester having a good day. 16 carries for 94 yards. He also has a touchdown run of 21 yards. A gain of 5. And this time, Emery Smith breaks up the middle. They can't get him to the ground. To the 11-yard line. A big play to the fullback, Smith. The strong safety, Robert Hammond, saves the touchdown. A gain of 28 on the play.
Emery Smith, the brother of Emmett. I'm going to tell you something, folks. We told you he's bigger than his brother Emmett for the Dallas Cowboys. He'll show it here, and he'll use it. 238 pounds, a huge hole opens up. Now watch, he'll use that weight to go ahead and drag tackle him. It'll take him on head on. Watch this. Boom. Running his own guys over. Big, strong, fast, explosive runner.
Doesn't matter what color jersey you got on. You get in the way, you're going to the ground. And a mix-up in the backfield. Smith barely did get that handoff. Green ran right into him. So did Renard Wilson.
As I said, the biggest, fastest, strongest players right now are being recruited out of Florida. Certainly the Smith family out of Pensacola, Florida. Add to that.
So 2nd and 12 after the loss of 2. So Clemson knocking on the door. The option, Green to keep it. Not going anywhere.
You know, I think Green confused himself there. He forgot the play and actually was shocked when it went to the left.
Anyway, right into Darrell Bush, too, the middle linebacker. Spags has something else on the field, John.
We saw Shevin Smith go out of the game. That was leg cramps. I'm on the sidelines here. Sean Hamlet, the starting free safety, was also getting his calves massaged with ice. Heat is taking its toll on the Seminole defense, Terry.
How are you holding up, John?
I feel great. Thanks a lot for asking.
We got plenty of fluids for you afterwards.
And there is Bush going off to the sideline. Had the knee injury last year. And it is hot today. 3rd and 13 out of the backfield. Priester trying to get away from Coward. He's not going to get there. How about the quickness of Sam Coward one-on-one with Raymond Priester, and he brought him down.
That's a huge play. You know, he shared time the last 2 years at outside linebacker. He's a big hitter. Some think he could be the next great dominant player at Florida State. But he made a big play on Priester that time, just holding on to his jersey and showing his strength to get him down.
Priester 6'1", 220. And Coward 6'3", 239. And on again is Jeff Savay, and Florida State just does get off the field. They almost had 12 men on the field. An attempt at 31 yards. Down, up, and it is good. So Clemson puts 3 on the board. On the field goal by Savay, it's